Alright, so there's 18 teams in the AFL. 18's a bit hard to swallow, so we've broken it up into groups, and we're going to start off with what is called the Big Four. Now, why are they the Big Four, Cos?
Yeah, it's simply support. It's not necessarily about money, not necessarily about winning trophies, although these teams are very successful historically, but it's basically they're large, passionate supporter bases. And they're all based in Melbourne, in the city of Melbourne.
Which also brings us to another point. It's worth mentioning 10 of the 18 teams are from Victoria, which is a little state.
It's just
looks like this.
Yeah.
And, well, the reason for that is it started off as the VFL, then it became the AFL, so it's more of it's a Victorian, the state of Victoria had their little league, and it expanded into an Australian league.
Back at the time, it was the most successful league. They had the most money, so it expanded from that.
And that's where we have the AFL from.
So to kick things off, we're going to start with the Carlton Football Club. Now, they are known as the Blues.
Navy
Blues, as being more specific. They were formed in 1897, so they were one of the original 8 starting teams. 16
premierships, so they are the joint most successful club in the AFL. But that gives us a nice matchup with Liverpool. Why have we done this, Cos? Why have we done this?
It's due to a few factors. It's their history, basically. Liverpool, we know about their history. They're so successful. Carlton are successful as well. The fans are generally not well liked, I must say, in each respective league.
There's a lot of groups of fans that aren't well liked.
The other thing is this. They haven't won in a while. And that's the thing. Liverpool haven't won since 1990.
In a bit of a dip.
Carlton are going through their worst period right now in their history. They haven't won since 1995.
Because it's the AFL, dips in the AFL are much worse than dips in the Premier League. You don't just drop down to mid-table. You drop to wooden spooners, as they call them.
Yeah, in AFL you drop right down to the bottom. In the EPL, you kind of, for a Liverpool stand, 7th or 8th is probably a last for them. They just go together quite well.
Really, it links in good with our next team.
It does. Carlton's major rivals, Collingwood. Now, Collingwood...
Other
Magpies, they...
also started at the beginning.
Yes, they did. And they have won 15 grand finals, so again, very successful.
Just behind
Carlton. And Collingwood having a massive rivalry with Carlton was the logical matchup. Manchester United with Liverpool, massive rivalry, so you boys and fans can get together.
Also, the most hated fans in the land.
Well, the most hated teams as well. You either love or hate these two teams, just because of not so much their success, more so their brand.
Yeah.
And how popular their support is. I mean, Collingwood are the most supported club in Australia, the biggest support, and United are well supported throughout the whole globe, really.
Yeah, well, neither team in particularly great form of late. Carlton being really out of it. Collingwood also being really progressively worse since they won their last premiership, which was in 2010.
Yep.
But Collingwood are a big club, and big clubs always eventually get back on their feet. So that's Collingwood for you. Then we've got our third team. This one is complicated.
This one's a bit different. We haven't actually matched this team up with the Premier League team.
It was a toss-up between Collingwood and Essendon for who gets to be Manchester United, because Essendon are right up there as well with supporter bases, how much people hate them, and success. Essendon are the other joint equal most premiership team, 16 for them as well.
Yeah, their last one came in the year 2000.
Yes, it's been a while.
They were part of the original 8 teams as well that formed the competition. We matched Essendon up with Newcastle. Here's why.
It's more to do with the most recent season.
Yeah,
it's a perfect fit.
It's a perfect fit because we know that relegation doesn't exist in the AFL. What happened to Essendon is akin to relegation.
Yeah.
Essendon are a big club. Newcastle are a big club. They've both got very expectant fans that want their team to do very well in every season, play above themselves, and just play good.
What was the motto, Cos? Whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes. That's basically what... Yeah. Newcastle are a badly run club. Newcastle is a club that should never be relegated from the Premier League under any circumstances. Essendon are badly run for a different reason. They've just recently been embroiled in an AFL sort of drug scandal. Most of their players were suspended from playing the 2016 AFL season, and they were basically left with first or second year players, and they had to recruit about 10 players from non-professional football leagues. They had to recruit just so they could play games and play the season, and as a result they finished last on the ladder. So that's akin to being relegated. This season they got their players back, so they're going to sort of come up the ladder a bit. Newcastle should be back in the Premier League next season. So
last time they came up, they what, 6th. We're expecting something similar to happen, and they might do the equivalent, which is make finals.
Yeah,
It's like playing in Europe in EPL.
Yeah.
Also, to finish that one off, Essendon are known as the Bombers. They live near an airport. And to round off the big four, we've got the Richmond Tigers. So I'm taking the last member of the top four because it's too emotional for Cos.
Yeah.
Established in 1908, they got 10 premierships to their name. Their last one was in 1980, and their last finals appearance was not last season, the season before. They had 3 in a row. The best way to describe them is probably a mid-range, ambitious club. We've matched them up with... Look, there's a lot of teams that were really vying for this one. Arsenal was definitely up there. But we went with the Hull Tigers because the mascot is just so iconic to this team.
It is. They're the most passionate, vocal, they're large supporter base, but they're just the most passionate. And the Tiger is entrenched in their souls.
It's probably entrenched in their souls just as much as City is entrenched in Hull fans' souls.
Arguably, Richmond fans are a bit more passionate about their Tiger than they are about actually winning games, which is insane. I mean, they're a unique supporter base, and we've got some links up the top there just to show you how passionate Richmond fans are.
Would you recommend you take a seat before watching them though, because they can be highly emotionally disturbing?
I know all about it. They tease you with
You're going to learn a lot about Richmond. My favourite thing about the matchup with Richmond and Hull City is that, well, one, the irony of how Richmond are passionate about the Tiger and Hull are passionate about the City. Commitment, intensity, ferocity. They don't care if they get smashed by 100 points.
The effort. They just want to see effort, and
they want to see the players bleed.
Yeah, and try hard. I mean, that's what it's about. Hull fans don't like their owners. When Richmond start playing badly, there's always a board challenge. This last season, there were 2 challenges of the board by 2 separate groups. That's how crazy Richmond fans are.
And how bad the board is. The matchups aren't much to do with how well they're doing. It's just more about the really deep inside with the fans, which is probably more fitting because AFL team goes up and down. Yeah. Hull City might not be back in the Premier League, so we just jumped on this bandwagon while we could. Hopefully this is a good starting point for you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Keep an eye out for things like this. But that's it for now. Yep. And see you next time.
Yep, see you then.